Hard work is very important, but a system will beat hard work every time. But if you stack hard work and a system together, that is a stack that can't be beat. Hey everyone, this is Brandon from Fitness Pro Mentors, and I'm super excited to offer this free training for you. I want you to have the client-centric, data-driven professional practice that you deserve. There are people in your world that need you, but you got to reach them somehow, and you need to make sure you can make enough money and have the business practices so you can have the life that you want and stay in this career forever. Today, we're going to talk about my favorite part of this whole thing, and we're going to talk about building your F.I.S.T formula, your individualized custom system. And I want to introduce these ideas to you so you can start thinking about it. We go deep in our program with this because this is the most important thing. This adds a layer of automations and very important pieces that you need to have so you can succeed. So the F.I.S.T formula, first and foremost, 1, F, find. People need to find you. Marketing and having channels to outreach to people, setting up, like I said in the previous video, being a pillar of education and an expert in your community is pivotal. But you need to make sure that there are other channels that people are finding you. If people don't find you and aren't entering into your world somehow, you're never going to be busy. You're never going to be able to help all the people you deserve to help. You can't even get into the sales and assessment process to show them how great you are. So people need to find you. Now, here's where it's really easy, and this is the thing that you can do right now. Look at the last 5 people that entered into your schedule. Ask them, hey, how did you find me? What was it about me that you heard that made you pick up the phone and call me? These last 5 people are the people that you need to focus on because they've already reached out to you. They just recently reached out to you. So if it was word of mouth, perfect. That's fantastic. How can you, from a finding strategy, double down on the word of mouth protocol? Is there a protocol? Can you create one for your system? Because there's a great way to ask your clients that are coming in your door and saying, hey, if you don't mind me asking, I get a little weird when I ask this question, is there anyone in your world that could benefit from what I do? That's a weird question to ask. How does it make you feel to ask that question? But you got to ask. You got to start off there because that small question creates a very micro system to start working on the word of mouth side of the finding strategy. You see what I'm doing? So you need to see how people are finding you. And if you can see how they're finding you, you can create a custom system, a script, a process so people can find you faster. Very important. Number 2, integration. How are people integrating into your world? And this is actually a very important step because there's this anchoring that happens when people meet you and go through a process in which they never forget the first impressions of you. So when you do a sales process, which is the first part of integrating, you need to have a very ethical, honest sales process. Sales is not a dirty word. Sales creates an opportunity for us to learn a lot about the client and their emotional reasons why they're really here. But we have this choice, and this is where most salespeople go the wrong direction. We can make them feel bad about that and manipulate them, but we won't do that. We are not doing that. We want to ask questions about their emotional reason why they're here. If we understand that, we can truly tailor an educational process for that. Most people who come in and have a problem with their shoulder really are not worried about the shoulder pain, although they are, but they're really worried about the things they can't do because of the shoulder pain. And if you know that, you can focus on those things and create an amazing process. The second part of this is having a solid assessment, and your assessment needs to be data-driven. It can't be making them feel demeaned by how many push-ups they can't do or how far they can't reach. But in reality, if you can build a data-driven assessment process using dynamometers and other tools like that to get metrics from left to right, it makes it very easy to set up the final sale in a report education session. At this point, the report session creates an incredible opportunity for you to show all the data to the client, talk to them about why they should think about investing into your program, ask for a relationship, and from there, you have data metrics in which you can show the client you're going the right direction, all based off of their emotional reason why they reached out to you. So this integration process is very important, and in my practice, was the bottleneck many years ago. The third piece is stay. How do people stay in your world? Now, again, saying that sounds, again, like there's an opportunity to be manipulative. And in reality, it isn't. It really comes down to how can you create honest pillars to educate your consumer for their entire life around the importance of exercise? In reality, I would love to see every client I like to see twice a week for the rest of my life, but that's not feasible. People lose resources, things change, people move away. So, is there an opportunity where you could create multiple end destinations providing the same service? A very quick example is what I like to call consulting personal training. Instead of seeing someone twice a week forever, if someone knows they can't afford you for their entire life twice a week, is it possible they could afford to see you once every 2 weeks or once a month and you take this consulting role with that client? This may not sound ideal to you, but this creates a fantastic opportunity to see that client at least 12 times a year versus 0 times. And those 12 times will bring you more resources and keep that client exercising for sure better than if they don't see you. Stay, retention strategies. And lastly, it's the T. And this is all around training. We want this whole process to help people continue training and exercising. Exercise is very powerful, and this training technical component is one of my favorites. I'm a big nerd around this. But in reality, this training component, I focused so much on at the beginning years of my life, and I know you have too, where I learned all this amazing exercise information, amazing exercises, amazing biomechanics, but I had no business. And that's why these first 3 steps are so important. But once you have people coming into your world, train, you can practice studying biomechanics that's relevant to your target audience and the people that are in front of you. Don't worry about learning nervous system anatomy if it's not relevant to your hip replacement client. If a client comes in and they have a hip replaced joint, you need to learn the mechanics of that joint, the anatomy changes that happen from that, and what pieces they cut into. And from there, you become an expert on that piece and you can work with more hip replacement clients. You need to practice for the gig. In short, that's the introduction to the F.I.S.T system, F-I-S-T. And if you know how people find you, how you can integrate them into your world, how they can stay so you can train and they can train for their entire life, that is the best case scenario. Listen, if you've watched this and you've enjoyed this mini course, I would love to offer you a free phone call with me, a coaching call to talk about where your business is bottlenecking and figure out what options that we can come up with to help you succeed. I want to see you double your business in the next 90 days with a data-driven, client-centric practice. And I know you can do it with these simple systems. So reach out. I'd love to talk about what we can do to help you succeed.